ये पृथ्वीवासी पृथ्वी पर कब्जा करके अपनी सभ्यता को सदियों से बढ़ाते चले आए हैं और ये अपनी जरूरतों को पूरा करने के लिए पेड़ पौधों को काटते चले आ रहे हैं।
We are human. We can do anything for our purpose. Today, we humans are at the forefront among many species in this world, but we never saw who was suffering because of this. I am talking about impact on environment by human population.
Enemies of your work, and one of them is overpopulation. So what you see here, this is the current world population.
Yes, growing.
And is this the enemy of what you are trying to do?
I think there are three enemies. This is definitely one of them. Another one is extreme poverty. Because areas, you cut the trees down because you have to. You've got to live, you've got to support your family. If you're in a city, you buy the cheapest stuff, which has obviously been made by destroying the environment.
As the global population continues to rise, the effects of overpopulation are becoming more evident with each passing day. Overpopulation is defined as a condition where the number of people exceed the carrying capacity of the environment, leading to a significant stress on natural resources, ecosystem, and human living conditions. As of November 2024, the world's population was estimated to be nearly 8.2 billion people. And yes, we have now 8.2 billion people in this planet. Population growth refers to the increase in the number of people inhabiting the earth. It is primarily driven by two factors. First, by natural increase. If the birth rate, number of people leaves birth per 1,000 people per year, exceed the death rate, which is also death per 1,000 people per year, here is a main reason of population growth. And second is migration. People move from one region or country to another for various reasons, such as seeking better economic opportunities, escaping conflict, or reuniting with family. Migration can significantly impact population dynamics in specific areas. Some areas are experiencing rapid growth population, such as Africa, Asia, Europe, North America, and Latin America. Asia has more than 60% of the world's population. Countries like India and China are the most populous country in the world, while India has 1.45 billion, whereas China has 1.40 billion, and it's continued to grow rapidly. If we talk about India, today it is at the peak in terms of population. This country is on the path of development and progress, such as school and college for education, big universities, industries, mining, and big infrastructure projects to enhance the human lifestyle. For example, recently to build the Sardar Sarovar Dam project in India, many people and animals and trees of 13,000 hectares were cut, and water was also damaged a lot. We already know there are so many types of caste and religion in India. Their needs are also different, so in order to fulfill their needs, the environment is indirectly harmed, and many man-made disasters also happen in India, which is also impact the environment. Now, this country generates 10.2 million plastic waste every year, and it's gradually increasing. United Nations projects that the global population could reach around 9.7 billion by 2050 and possibly 10.4 billion by the 2080s before stabilizing. The impact of an increasing population on the environment is a critical issue in the contemporary world, where population growth intersects with environmental degradation, resources depletion, and climate change. As the population approaches 8.2 billion, the strain on natural resources and ecosystem has intensified, leading to a complex interplay of social, economic, and environmental challenges. I will explore the multifaceted impact of population growth on the environment, considering factors such as resources consumption, pollution, habitat loss, climate change, and the implication of the sustainable development. Our enormous population impacts the environment in two major ways. First, use of resources, and second, ecosystem services. Let's discuss in brief. Thus, extensive use of resources in several ways. First, resources depletion. As the population grows, the demand for natural resources like water, mineral, fossil fuel, and a forest increases. This leads to over-extraction, where resources are consumed faster than they can naturally replenish. The issue of resources depletion due to overpopulation is one of the pressing challenges facing humanity today. As the global population approaches 8 billion, the demand for natural resources such as water, food, energy, and mineral continue to rise exponentially. Overpopulation refers to a situation where the number of people exceed the capacity of the environment to support them. It's lead to an overconsumption of resources, environmental degradation, and a reduction in the quality of life. The link between overpopulation and resources depletion. At the core of resource depletion lies a simple principle: more people require more resources. Every individual consumes resources to meet basic needs like food, water, and shelter. As the global population grows, the pressure on these essential resources increases. For example, in 1950, the world's population was approximately 2.5 billion and today is 8.2 billion. The rapid growth population was led to an unprecedented demand for food production, fresh water, energy, and raw materials, which is turn place strain on ecosystem and the planet's natural resources. Food production. The agricultural sector has expanded dramatically to meet the food needs of a growing population. However, the expansion has led to deforestation, soil degradation, and loss of biodiversity. Large-scale monoculture farming depletes soil nutrition, which results in lower agricultural productivity over time. The use of chemical fertilizer and pesticide meant to enhance crop yields has polluted water bodies and harmed wildlife. Moreover, the demand for meat products require vast amount of land and water, contributing to further resource depletion. Water scarcity.
पहले पानी था ना इधर नज़दीक, नहाने धोने की व्यवस्था थी नहीं क्योंकि खाली बाहर से पानी लाना खाली थी.
Freshwater resources are under severe stress due to overpopulation. Agricultural, industrial activities and domestic consumption are consuming fresh water at rate that exceed its natural replenishment. The World Health Organization estimates that by 2030, half of the world's population will be living in a water-stressed areas, aquifer, and rivers are being depleted at an alarming rate, leading to a water shortage that threatens food security and public health. Countries like India, Mexico, and part of the Middle East are already facing significant water crisis. Freshwater resources are under severe strain due to population growth. Agriculture, which consumes about 70% of the world's fresh water, must meet the food demand of a growing population. This has led to the over-extraction of groundwater, the drying up of our rivers and lakes, and increased competition for water resources. Water scarcity affects not only the human health and food security, but also the health of aquatic ecosystem. Human activities pose a significant threat to the water quality of river when pollution exceeds the threshold limit. Urban activity in particular are highlighted as one of the major causes of contamination in surface water bodies in Asian countries.
ভালো সবার জন্য ভালো হবে, এ ভালো হবে না। এই যে পলিথিন ফেলবে, এই নদীতে সব ফেলবে।
Further, many studies have found untreated sewage to be the most critical issue with respect to water contamination because 40% of the global population do not have adequate sanitary facilities. Energy demand. Fossil fuels such as coal, oil, and natural gas are the primary sources of energy for the most of the world. However, overpopulation has resulted in an increasing demand for energy, leading to accelerated depletion of these non-renewable resources. The burning of fossil fuel contribute to air pollution and the global warming with long-term environmental and the health consequences. Renewable energy sources such as solar and wind offer some hope, but the transition is slow. Raw materials. The construction, technology, and manufacturing sector rely on raw material like metals, mineral, and timber, which are being extracted at unsustainable rate. The growing demand for electronic device, vehicle and infrastructure has led to the depletion of finite resources like copper, lithium and rare earth elements. Mining operation not only deplete these resources but also cause extensive environmental damage including deforestation, habitat destruction and water pollution. Then we have agricultural land. To feed a growing population, more land is needed for agriculture. However, the expansion of agricultural land often comes at the expense of forest, wetlands and other natural habitats. Deforestation for agriculture leads to a loss of biodiversity, disruption of ecosystem and contribute to climate change by releasing the stored carbon into the atmosphere. Mining is a major contributor to resource depletion as it involves extracting finite natural resources such as mineral, metals, and fossil fuel from the earth. The increasing demand for materials like copper, iron, gold, and rare earth elements for industries like construction, electronic, and energy production has led to the rapid exhaustion of these non-renewable resources. Mining operations also have significant environmental consequences including deforestation, habitat destruction, and soil erosion and water pollution. The extraction process often releases harmful chemicals into the environment, contaminating ecosystem and affecting biodiversity. Furthermore, excessive mining depletes land and underground resources, leaving landscapes scarred and ecosystem disrupted. The depletion of these essential resources threatens to the sustainable. And next we are going to discuss about pollution and waste generation. With population growth comes an increase in the generation of waste and pollution. The production and consumption pattern associated with a large population lead to more waste in the form of plastic, chemical, and other pollutants that harm the environment. First we have air pollution. Urbanization, industrialization, and the increased use of fossil fuel have led to higher level of air pollution, particularly in the developing country experiencing rapid population growth. Air pollution is linked to the respiratory and cardiovascular disease and contribute to climate change through the release of carbon dioxide and methane. Water pollution. Increased agricultural and industrial activities have led to the contamination of water bodies with pesticide, fertilizer and heavy metals and other pollutants. Runoff from agricultural feed, untreated industrial waste and sewage discharge into river and ocean have led to the degradation of fresh water and marine ecosystem, threatening biodiversity and human health. Land pollution. The growing amount of solid waste, particularly non-biodegradable plastic, has become a major environmental concern. Landfills are overflowing and improper waste management practice leads to soil contamination and the release of toxic substances into the environment. And the third topic is habitat loss and biodiversity decline. The expansion of human population into a previously undeveloped areas has led to a significant habitat loss and fragmentation, which is one of the leading causes of biodiversity decline. As the forests are cleared for agriculture, urban development and infrastructure projects, the habitats of countless species are destroyed and altered, leading to a loss of biodiversity. Deforestation. Forests are home to a large proportion of world's biodiversity. However, deforestation driven by need for agriculture, land, timber and urban expansion has led to the loss of critical habitats for many species. Deforestation also disrupts the carbon cycle, contributing to global warming. Urbanization. The expansion of cities and towns to accommodate growing population often leads to destruction of natural habitats. Urban sprawl fragments ecosystem, making it difficult for wildlife to survive and thrive. This fragmentation can lead to a decline in species population and disrupt ecological processes such as pollination and seed dispersal. And another one is overfishing. The demand for seafood has led to the overexploitation of marine resources, resulting in the depletion of fish stock and the destruction of marine habitats such as coral, reefs, and mangroves. Overfishing not only threatens the sustainability of marine ecosystem but also the livelihoods of communities that depend on fishing.
A resource that provides 13% of all jobs on our planet also provides the primary source of animal protein for the 2 billion poorest people on our planet. But 2/3 of global fisheries are overexploited, unsustainable. Fishers today must travel farther, spend more money, take more time to achieve the same yields they had 10 or 20 years ago. This has created an increased demand for labor without increased revenue, and that's where, sadly, children and other forced laborers come in to address that need.
The reduction in the variety and abundance of species, ecosystem and genetic resources on Earth, it's a significant issue that affects ecological balance and human well-being and the sustainability of life. Key drivers of biodiversity decline include habitat destruction, climate change, pollution, overexploitation of resources, and invasive species. And next, other reason of today's environment is climate change. Population growth contributes significantly to climate change through increased greenhouse gas emissions. As the population grows, so does the demand for energy, transportation, and industrial goods, all of which contribute to the release of carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. Greenhouse gas emissions.
Change is the gradual heating of our planet through the emissions of greenhouse gases, GHG. It is an effect of human activities on our planet, more specifically industrial activities. Increasing temperatures. The global surface temperature rises together with greenhouse gas concentrations. The hottest decade recorded was from 2011 to 2020. That is more recent. There are more hot days and heat waves now than there were ever. The Arctic is melting twice as quickly as other locations.
The burning of fossil fuel for energy, transportation, and industry is the largest source of greenhouse gas emission. As more people consume energy and goods, emission continue to rise, exacerbating global warming. In addition, agricultural activities such as livestock farming produce significant amount of methane, a potent greenhouse gas. Deforestation and land use change. The conversion of forest and other natural habitats into agricultural land, urban areas, and infrastructure contribute to climate change by reducing the Earth's capacity to absorb carbon dioxide. Deforestation in particular releases larger amount of carbon stored in trees and soil into the atmosphere, contributing to the greenhouse effect. Climate impact is the effect of climate change such as rising temperature, changing precipitation patterns, and more frequent extreme weather events are already being felt around the world. These impacts threaten food security, water availability, and human health, particularly in the vulnerable regions with high population densities. Climate change also exacerbates environmental degradation, leading to a vicious cycle of resource depletion and further environmental stress. Fifth is sustainable development challenges. The growing population presents significant challenges to achieving sustainable development, which seek to balance economic growth, social equity, and environmental protection. As the world population continues to grow, the need for sustainable solutions becomes more urgent, such as food security. Feeding a growing population in a sustainable manner is one of the biggest challenges of the 21st century. Intensive agricultural practices that rely on a chemical fertilizer, pesticide, and monoculture are unsustainable and lead to soil degradation, water pollution, and loss of biodiversity. Sustainable agriculture practices such as organic farming, agroforestry, and integrated pest management are needed to ensure food security. Other challenge is energy transition. To mitigate the impact of population growth on climate change, a transition to renewable energy sources such as solar, wind, and hydroelectric power is essential. This transition must be coupled with energy efficiency measures and changes in consumption pattern to reduce overall energy demand. Next, urban planning. As more people move to cities, sustainable urban planning becomes more crucial to minimize the environmental impact of urbanization. This includes the development of green space, efficient public transportation system, and sustainable housing that reduces the energy consumption and promote resources conservation. Next one is waste management. Effective waste management strategies are needed to address the growing amount of waste generated by a larger population. These include reduce waste and the source, increasing recycling and compositing rates, and developing technologies for waste to energy conversion. Last challenges of sustainable development is biodiversity conservation. Protecting and restoring ecosystem and biodiversity is critical to ensure the resilience of planet's natural system. This requires the establishment of protected areas, the restoration of degraded habitats, and the promotion of sustainable land use practices that balance human needs with environmental protection. Through responsible policies, sustainable practice, and international cooperation, it is possible to mitigate the environmental impact of population growth and build more resilient and sustainable future for all. If we don't prioritize sustainable solutions now, future generations will face even a greater environmental challenges. It's time for global action to balance human needs with the health of our planet. Thank you so much.